So it's great to be here. Good morning to those who are in Shanghai or in Taiwan, as one of the filmmakers is Leo. And for those of you who are in North America, good evening on a Sunday, good morning on a Monday in Asia, as we get to dig deep into, I was able to watch a great documentary. Uh, I can't say any more than it's beautiful and well told. But you're going to get more in terms of what that might mean. Our Time Machine is the documentary, and we get to hang out not only with the filmmakers, but we also get to hang out with the protagonist, who this film is about, Maleonn and his family. Beautifully told about a son's love for his parents and a family that is not always as simple as we think it is. And it is a real pleasure for me to sit here with this visit with Maleonn because I myself am also a family caregiver. I am a long distance caregiver because I travel from New York to California 2 or 3 times a month to care for my father, who, like Maleonn's father, has dementia and Alzheimer's. And so he and I are brothers in more than one way. And so, with great interest, I watched the entire documentary because I know that it's so important that we talk about this, right, Maleonn? That we need to talk about why caring for parents in such difficult times can also be joyful. So, ladies and gentlemen, on your screen, Maleonn. Maleonn, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Leo, thanks for being here. Yang as well, thank you for being here. And the star of the show, though, is you, Maleonn. Before we get to the tour of your home, of your shop, of your family, and of what is a beautiful puppet, I must say. But first off, how is your family, Maleonn? How's your father?
爸爸都好，Richard，您好。我父亲现在身体很好，他也是还是继续有一些糊涂和那个不记得很多事情。最近发展到不认识我了，但是他的身体很好，我的母亲身体很好，我觉得这样的时间我希望越长越好，就这样也挺好，只要我爸爸妈妈还在身边。
So, Maleonn, one of the things for me, my father stopped eating, and he also stopped talking about a year ago. He occasionally still recognizes me. What was that first moment like when he no longer recognized you?
嗯，说实话，大概是从去年的年底开始，我觉得他其实不认识我，但是我的父亲呢，他还是一个很聪明的人，所以他会掩饰，他假装认识我，但事实上他已经不认识我。所以呢，最近我见我父亲的话，我一句话就是要自我介绍，爸爸你好，我是你的儿子，我是马良，说你有一个儿子一个女儿，我是那个儿子。现在我也不希望他不要尴尬，他一开始他有点尴尬，他觉得他不想不认识我，他希望不要出这样的问题。对，他每次我见到他的时候，我觉得他有点紧张，他很怕说错。后来我现在就看到他以后，就说你好，我是你的儿子。那他身体很好，现在。
That's great. For me, Maleonn, I wear a sign that says, I am your son, Richard, when I would go visit him. I don't know, maybe you can try that. But what's really awesome about what you did, as I saw in the film by Leo and Yang, is that you brought your artwork to your family in your journey with your father. Tell me why puppetry may have helped that relationship stay stronger longer.
呃，今天早上我跟我的女儿，她起来以后跟她聊天，我说昨天你看到那个小木偶，你还记得吧？她说我记得。我说那个小木偶是你的哥哥，还是你的哥哥？其实就是在我的女儿真正的女儿出现之前，小木偶就像我的儿子， 他是我那时候没有孩子，我觉得这个木偶是我的孩子。当我拥有这个孩子的时候，我好像似乎能在跟我父亲的关系里头会更进一步。我觉得那个我是我父亲的儿子，这个小木偶是我的儿子，好像我们就可以有更多的共同语言。事实上，的确就是那个时候，木偶就像我的孩子一样的。我觉得我在拥有木偶跟木偶一起生活的这个过程里头，我能更贴近我的父亲。现在我有了真的孩子了，所以我跟我的孩子说，Makuji，我那个木偶的 Makuji 是他的哥哥。
So who was the better son, Mukherjee or you, Maleonn?
Makuji 比我好，我觉得 Makuji 至少不上班，我就随时可以找他。
Well, I'll argue with you because I haven't seen Mukherjee take care of you as you have taken care of your father. So we'll wait and see, huh? That'll be for the sequel of the documentary. You know, what's great is that we have Leo and Yang here as well. You know, Leo, this is a special story you're telling across many different levels. What brought you to want to tell this story? Because it's got many different faces to it.
Um, for us, Yang was actually the one that first connected with Maleonn, because Yang lives in Shanghai and they have a friend in common. And when Maleonn was embarking on this ambitious project, he was toying around with some ideas of having a film made about it. So Yang by chance connected with Maleonn. I think for us, both the spectacular art that Maleonn makes was the first immediate draw, but then the soul and the heart and the emotion of the family relationship was ultimately what really made us decide that this was going to be a worthwhile story to share in the form that we ended up sharing it in a long form documentary.
Yeah, Young, one of the difficulties of describing this journey is your focus not only is, of course, sound, but also video. And a journey like the story of Maleonn and his father is not always visual, right? It's not a physical affliction. It's not a struggle that you see necessarily with physicality. How did you decide that this could still work, Young?
其实我一开始听到这个故事，只听到了那个片子里的游泳池的故事，然后其实就这一个故事，就让我就每天就不停的冒出来各种想象的画面，我就大概有那么3、4天一直在持续，它好像就触碰了我想象力的就激发了我很多的想象力，所以导致我其实想象力在不停的冒出来拍这个片子的时候。然后呢，其实马良还有马良的父亲，他们都是特别好的人物啊，他们在镜头面前的表达都特别充分，特别是马良本人，他经常会给我讲很多的很有趣的故事，然后这些故事也在不停的激发着我的想象力。然后马良的父亲呢，他对我的镜头更是特别不忌讳，他会就是我可以拍到很近，当我观察我镜头拍得很近，拍他的脸，拍他就我看到时间在他脸上匆匆走过的时候，我也会有很多的情绪，很多的然后就是我是不停的在被他们激发着，然后去创作，然后去想到很多的画面，包括各种东西，然后就再加上我可能就本身就喜欢一些影像的东西，所以他就把这些情绪变成了影像的各种想象，所以就加入了很多的影像的创作。
So I think that to what Yang is saying, the interesting thing is that because both Ma Liang's parents are performers, Ma Liang's father was trained in the Chinese opera from very, very young. I mean, it's that really traditional way of recruiting a child and then really kind of put them through the rigorous training. And Ma Liang's mother is actually a fairly well-known actress. She had an iconic TV role that till this day she still gets recognized on the street. So because they're so comfortable in front of the camera, we were able to, probably capture more intimate and more natural and more sort of realistic, real interactions than other folks who are maybe not as comfortable in front of other camera crews.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maleonn, I remember your mother turning to the camera and kind of whispering for a moment. She's very expressive in her thoughts, right? What did you learn about your parents going through this process of being filmed by both Yang and Leo as the filmmakers here? What did you learn about your parents?
嗯首先在拍摄的过程中，跟生活了解差不多，但是我觉得特别重要的有一点啊，就是我第一次看这部电影的时候是在纽约，他们一直没给我看这部电影的成片哈。我带着我的家人去纽约参加那个崔贝卡电影节，在第一次在电影屏幕上看这个故事，其中有一些镜头其实是我没有见过，比如说，我父亲去医院看病，孙杨去偷偷的跟着去拍，我父母亲去医院看病的时候，那个时候我爸爸身体没有那么糟，所以我只是有个司机把他们送过去，我自己没有去，所以我没有见过父亲在医院里面对医生的时候是什么样子。我看电影里那段的时候，我特别难过，就是我第一次见。那包括后来，我爸爸妈妈生活中有一些画面是孙杨去拍，我没有去的。我妈妈跟爸爸说的一些话，我也没有看到，我自己没有见过，我也看了很感动。我觉得这个纪录片也给了我很多这个重新认识我父亲、母亲的机会，特别是我在那个电影中第一次认识到我父亲对自己失去记忆的那种恐惧感，我看来挺心碎的，但是这就是电影的力量吧。
Maleonn, when did you cry?
是的，就是那个电影啊，在电影院里头，我记得我哭了三四次，哭了三四次，很多事情明明是我已经见过的我也哭，然后我没见过的我也哭。那天是我长那么大看电影中哭的最厉害的一次嘛，所以是他们两个导演搞出来的。
对，因为我一直想拍到马良哭，想拍一些情绪化的镜头啊，但是他第一次哭就是在看电影的时候，因为我一直没拍到他哭，在那个拍电影的时候。
Well, don't worry, Maleonn. Leo and Yang make me cry, and this is the first time I've met them.
是，
But I think our goal is not necessarily to make our subject cry. Our goal is to move the audience, right? We really want to connect with the audience. We want the audience to really relate. I think that's something that we've actually been quite proud of. Our film have traveled all over the world, and we've been getting responses from literally audiences everywhere saying how they can relate, beyond the language and the cultural differences. So that to us feels very special.
Yeah, Leo, the reason why I bring that up is because when you can, as you know, being a veteran of this space, me as a journalist, when the very subject themselves learn something, right, and see something, you've done something that's a little different, right? You've captured a view that even the subject matter has not seen. So that's great. That's just a testament to what you did, Leo, as well as you did, Yang, in bringing out the story here of Maleonn. What was the most, there's that transition in when you're developing the narrative where you go, I thought I was going down that way, but now I'm going down that way instead, right? And did that happen to you, Leo?
Yeah, I think for us, like any documentary films, there is definitely the moment where you realize that the film that you're making is not the film that you thought that you had set out to make. I think for us, we were always kind of aiming for these two threads. we're going to follow the production of the stage play and see what happens there. And we're going to follow the family, you know, to capture Maleonn and his parents and his sister, and to see what happens with the family as Maleonn's dad's condition deteriorates gradually. But we just didn't know. We didn't know where it was going to end. I think Yang talks about how when we first started, we really thought, you know, the story was going to be that we're going to follow this play as it travels around the world, and then see how the play impacts the audience. We didn't know that it really was going to delve so deeply into Maleonn's, you know, it's sort of a moment of existential examination, you know, for him to kind of look at his life, look at his work. But that also made it incredibly relatable, I think, for a lot of us.
That expression of humanity. Yang, yeah, build on what Leo was saying there, because it is art and real life, and one showing something about the other, right? Art and reality. Not that art is not reality, but the reflections of each other. Talk about that, Young, about that idea of what the film was, and then basically what you saw. Excuse me, the play, and then what Maleonn was going through with his family. Those sort of parallel tracks in the film.
嗯嗯，其实我们这个片子其实就在讲想象和真实，就是我觉得艺术家创作就是在想象，想象一个世界，就创造一个世界，就像马良所做的，他创造了一个木偶的世界，那里面有木偶的爸爸和儿子，然后这是马良的想象。我觉得这就是艺术的力量吧，就是我们用想象可能想着影响我们，真实的人生可能会影响，但是其实它可能影响不是就在一个实体的方面，它可能是影响着我们的心智和心境。所以说其实一开始我觉得到底艺术能影响到什么程度，这也是我想跟着这个马良的这个历程想要跟着拍下去的这个动力。因为我觉得好像艺术家对一些事实是难以改变的，但是其实在马良创作这个戏剧的过程中，我能感觉到一些真实的情感进入了这个戏剧，进入这个想象，然后在这里面，马良自己找到了自己的答案，就是这是那个真实生命给不了他的，然后也是让他可以慰藉，可以更继续往前走，不会困在这个人生的这个阶段的一个方式。我觉得艺术可能，就是特别重要的是这个方式。即使是我们在生理上遇到了很多的困难，但是其实艺术可以很快的帮我们解决那个心理的那个困难。生理的困难呢，其实我们只能交给医学或者说科技的发展。这个呢，可能就是另外的片子。我们的片子就想人怎么解决自己的困境，特别是一个艺术家
心灵的困境。
Well, this is a perfect segue, because where that comes to bear and where that comes to reality from Maleonn is in the very studio that you're in. And I think we have the honor of getting a tour now. And we have two cameras, I believe, that we get to see as you're giving us a tour. So I hand it over to you in Shanghai to take us through, and we cannot wait. I think we're going to be able to hang with you for 15 or 20 minutes. The rest of you, if you have any questions for the filmmakers or for Maleonn and his family, you can put it in if you're on Zoom and Q&A at the bottom. If you're on Facebook, you can also put it in the comments. Betsy and the rest of the team are gathering that, and we will try to get to some of them after the tour. So off to Shanghai.
各位好啊，这是我的工作室。我们从很多小的局部开始看吧。我的工作室之前在电影中的那个工作室特别大，在一个大的建筑的楼顶上，有200平方左右。在3、4年前，我跟我太太结婚之后， 太太怀孕了，我觉得我应该把工作室放在离家更近，所以呢，我现在这个工作室离我的家只有200米左右，很近。那么但是这个工作室很小，它不像以前的工作室那么大了，是一个小房子。我们看一下这个桌子，这是我做的各种东西。这边这个是我之前的一个作品，鸟人做的玩具。我这2年还是在做摄影，所以呢，其实这个房间里有很多是我的手扶这条，我的摄影用的道具，比如说这个，这是以前中国古代的时候僧人背的一个双肩背包，它其实是相当于双肩背包，背在身上的一个篓子，我们叫荆棘哈。你看这里是很多的神像，我去年做了一个作品，是摄影作品，是关于神像的。那么我从中国的互联网上搜，就是买来了差不多150尊神像，然后它都出现在我的作品里。这个是我15年前的绘画作品，还有乱七八糟的这些东西。不像以前那么大。哎，来看看我们的Makuji。哎呀，Makuji，好久没见你了啊！你放一下。我其实好久也没见Makuji动了。Makuji，我们俩有2年没见了哈，是不是？其实真的这2年我也没看到他动过了，因为其实木偶很浪漫，但也挺残酷的，就是如果没有演员，其实木偶就没有生命。今天我们的2位演员，因为这个直播，我的2位演员朋友，他们到了这个现场，Makuji于是有了生命啊。Makuji。我今天早上跟我的女儿说，Makuji是他的哥哥，你要记住这件事。再还让我的女儿敬服你啊！好。你好不好？这2年休息的好吧？好久都没上舞台了，好好的睡了一觉啊，是吧？
好了，那个
我去找我的女儿去啊。
好，
我女儿现在在外面草地上，我让她等一会儿。等一下啊。
给大家打个招呼吧。
我是Makuji。开了。喂。
Makuji来了。看一下。这是谁呀？这是谁呀？这是谁呀？
这是谁？
哎，怎么了？
谁？很开心。不好意思呢，是不是等了一早上啊？哎呀，好开心啊！
你抱一下他。
哎呀，真的开心的不得了。真的。
你跟Makuji哥哥讲话呀？
你说Makuji好。
你为什么不肯抱他一下呢？
因为一早上都在问我Makuji来了没有。
Makuji来了。
不好意思了。你看，你在干什么？你好。我终于看见了，好开心哦！
东东没事，你可以摸摸他，然后抱抱他都行。
好开心！跟他握个手吧。握个手。你好。
等等，Makuji是你的谁啊？
哥哥。
对呀，哎，你好久没看见马古吉了，是不是？很想他吗？
我是谁？
怎么那么高兴啊？
跟马古吉握个手。
哎呀，
抱抱他，抱抱他，抱抱他，哎呀！
你抱一下你哥哥，抱一下吗？
摸摸他，摸摸他，摸摸他，摸摸他的触角。
哥哥，我们一起跳舞吧。哎呦！我你触角。
哦，没关系，没关系。哦，好了好了。轻轻的啊，腿拉开的。我把你抱一下吧，好不好？抱抱。真的不好意思。笑得很开心。主要是一早上就盼着要找马古吉，要找马古吉。不是，终于看到了，是吧？他要问我，等车子开过去的时候，他要问我，这是马古吉的车吗？
你就感到对。
等等，
没关系。
嘿嘿嘿。
不好意思了，今天看见马古吉，今天看见马古吉，不好意思了。
小心他摔倒。
哦，没事没事，不会摔。
真的。
来，妈妈
真的，爸爸抱着好不好？
妈妈坐在这里，今天坐在妈妈身上。好。握握手吧。你好吗，马古吉？你说。
你好，马古吉。你好，记得。
你看
我是谁？
挠痒痒。挠他痒痒。
哎呦！
你说。你想不想马古吉啊？哦，你要坐在这里。
马古吉过来。
哎呀。
马古吉，哎呀，不要！
你说一个字。真的。来，爸爸抱一下。哥哥，爸爸抱一下。来，我们可以抱一下。
哎呀，头发发住了。哎呀。
没事，我们真的特别勇敢。真的。没事。而且马古吉是个演员，但他好久没上台呢，不像你现在是最热闹的时候呢。来，跟那边所有的观众打个招呼。
当然是，你正好给灯灯介绍一下小木偶的组成啊什么的，这是他的手啊，各个脸啊。
妈妈身上。
真的。
你跟这个镜头打个招呼。
真的，我跟你讲马古吉是怎么回事好吗？马古吉是爸爸用木头做的，爸爸一共做了1000多块零件才把马古吉造出来。
坐在这里，
我就坐在这。
好，你坐在这里可以。 我们马古吉今年是几岁啦？从我最早做他到现在，已经有5岁了，真正是个5岁的小伙子啊，有5年了。我跟你讲，马古吉身高是一个5岁小伙子的身高，你5岁的时候也会那么高。然后马古吉1000多块零件。是不是很开心啊？
可能控制不住。
其实以前，很多年前我说马古吉，我说多少零件，但是现在马古吉其实对我来说是一个整体，不是零件。马古吉是一个人。
走走好，老师抓你了。
你们看到了我的儿子和女儿啊，来看，跟叔叔的，这是女儿，我女儿快3岁了，2岁18个月。
2岁5个月。好喜欢跟老师玩。
我们在工作呢。
是，差不多可以了。
对啊，
那就结束。
但你们看到了这个，我的女儿和她不会停下来，她永远不会停下来。好吗？我们回到电脑屏幕前。好，
你要跟这边说拜拜的。
来，等等，
这里说拜拜。
跟叔叔说拜拜。
那个木偶跟着我，木偶别走。那个木偶别走，
木偶跟着。
木偶过来，入镜了。
你要妈妈上楼吧，你也跟着上楼。等一下，你等他先上。
Leo, as they're getting back to their camera, what was that like? How was it?
It's actually really incredible. I wish everybody can be with Makuji live and in person. It's kind of magical. Hi Makuji. Hello. Haven't seen you for a while. As you can see, they're amazing puppeteers and artisans behind the puppet. But until I mentioned that, you probably weren't even looking at them because Makuji is, he's being naughty as always. He's always causing a lot of trouble. He's always not staying quiet. Anyway, it's a joy to see them. And to see a baby Deng Deng, playing with Makuji, that's really beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, Maleonn, when you see your daughter meet and re-meet Makuji, what is that like for you as the parent of both of them?
一个是我用手一点点做出来的，一个是我跟我太太两个人生出来的，两个都好奇妙啊。当然了，那个我更爱我现在的女儿啊，我的女儿跟我有更多的情感，但是我好久没见我的马古吉，我今天第一次，2年之后第一次见她，我也很感动。你看他们两人是很好的朋友，一定要在一起。
好。
哎呀，
照相。
哎呀。
握手。
What's the first thing you felt, Maleonn, when you first saw Mukherjee again for 2 years? What was the first emotion you had?
我有的时候我会觉得很惊奇，我都不相信这是我自己做的。在那几年时间里头，我因为有那个理想，想要做一部戏剧，想要给爸爸做作品，所以我用了很多力气。我其实现在2年之后看，我都觉得做得好好啊，我都不知道怎么我能做出那么好的木偶来。
I think what Maleonn saying is almost like having kids, right? 你跟生孩子一样，你转个身，不知道为什么突然能做得那么好，对吧？类似的。
马古吉有什么问题？马古吉没有问题，马古吉很帅。马古吉。
一旦 一旦让我的女儿见到Makuji，她就停不下来了，她就永远要跟Makuji讲话。
That's great. What does she like most about Mukherjee? What is when she talks to you? What does she say?
我觉得他能意识到Makuji不是一个真的小哥哥，他能明白，然后他呢又觉得他是假的，但他又跟真的一样，很神奇，所以他跟Makuji真的那个，他比看到真人要开心。他看到一个真的男孩不会那么高兴的，他看到Makuji就特别高兴。
你可以讲那个评论球的事。
对，昨天登看到那个Makuji，第一次看到Makuji就说 Pinocchio， 我说你怎么知道他是 Pinocchio？ 因为我们没有教他这个，他可能在很久以前看过某一个书里头有那个 Pinocchio， 但是我们看到那个书里的 Pinocchio 长得跟Makuji完全不一样啊，完全不是一件东西，所以我们昨天也很惊奇，他怎么知道Makuji 是一个木偶呢？Makuji 其实不是木偶了，Makuji 是我的孩子，不只是木偶的，是吧？
I see that your daughter's also made for the camera and for the theater or performance.
对，他很喜欢镜头。他现在刚刚就在我背后说，我要看那个镜头，我要找镜头。他现在拿了一个道具，你们看到没有？这是一个表演道具。
Well, that is so awesome. We have a lot of questions from folks that are with us on Zoom as well as on Facebook. And by all means, your daughter is welcome to hang with us and answer some of the questions, and Mukherjee too. What I did want to do is first off get reflections from the filmmakers about what just happened, and then we can get into the questions. How about that? Yang, is this also the first time that you're seeing Mukherjee in 2 years?
对的，他其实我很少见到他也基本是他就是静止的状态，然后包括我就是木偶演员也是2年多没有见到他了，就是没有摸过，然后就是昨天把他们找来，才第一次2年后第一次去那个去看到木偶，然后去操作木偶，其实他们都还记得那个怎么去操作他们，很快的就变成了Makuji。其实对我们所有人来说都是很久没有见到。
Wow. Hey, Leo, what do you think?
For us, you know, as we were making the film, one of the things that we knew we had to do was to make sure that Makuji is a supporting character. You know, I guess in some ways, that was also something that we didn't expect, right? We thought that this was going to be the story of the family, the story of the actors. And we actually spent a lot of time with the actors. We shot interview with them. We went home with them. But, you know, because we're also enchanted by Makuji, and in order to kind of preserve the magical existence that the Makuji is, we decided to not include very much of the puppeteers and the actors, which is such a shame because they're incredible artists. But instead we get this really beautiful character, this little boy that brings so much joy to you know, both all of us on the filmmaking team, but also the audience that we've come across.
You know, since we do have the puppeteers here, why don't we ask them a quick question, if you don't mind, Maleonn? Can you ask them what they really enjoy and have learned by being the puppeteers of Mukherjee? Hello. So tell us, what it's like to be the puppeteer for Mukherjee?
有一段时间觉得自己 就是Makuji，然后会把自己小的时候的一些情感啊，都在Makuji身上表现出来。
And for you, what part of Makuji do you guide us through? Is it his head as well as arms?
对，我是头跟手，然后还有一个演员控制的是身体和右手，就是这个演员。
So the way it works with the puppets is that there's usually two puppeteers, and one operates the head and the left hand. The other one operates the right hand, but also the foot. So I don't know if I guess Yang didn't get to show it, but the puppeteers actually have these shoes that have a little clip in front that hooks onto the back of the puppet's feet. So as the both when the actors puppeteers foot go up and down, the puppets would go up and down as well. So I the way that they're able to sort of coordinate, they basically kind of have to share the same brain, and one of them have the voice for the puppet. It's actually really interesting. I think maybe Yang's gonna show everybody the puppet details. But I think that for the actors to embody this 5-year-old boy, I mean, it's fascinating to me.
It is fascinating. Thank you for sharing to the puppeteer. Thank you for giving us a glimpse into what it is like to undertake this craft. Some questions that I want to ask. This is from Susan Katz. Why was Mukherjee gone for 2 years? And why does Makuji have blue eyes instead of brown? Who wants to take it?
Well, I can talk about why he's gone for 2 years, but I think Maleonn will have to be the one that talks about why Makuji's eyes are blue.
其实蓝色的眼睛是因为最早我们做Makuji的时候，你看我们Makuji的皮肤不是真实的皮肤颜色，是一个古铜色。那我最早做的眼睛就是我们中国人的那种咖啡色眼睛。后来我觉得不是很漂亮，我是学美术的，所以我是从美术的角度，我觉得如果这个金色的皮肤配个蓝色眼睛很漂亮。因为Makuji并不是某一个民族，Makuji也并不是某一个确定的国家的人啊，Makuji来自于我的生命经验，Makuji是属于全世界的，我是这样想的。因为这个作品有2年没有演出了，我也在照顾我的家人和孩子，然后我也在做摄影作品，所以Makuji在我的工作室里挂着，他一直就2年没有工作，2年没有上舞台了，所以说2年没有见他活过来，因为他其实挂着的时候，他就是一个不动的小木偶，有2位演员可以注入。
A lot of people are asking, where might this play go? Why did it not come to New York? What might be next for the play? Where is the documentary? Where can I see the documentary? Lots of questions here. Leo, how do you want to parse that out?
I think Maleonn should probably answer the question about the play, and then I can talk more about the film itself.
Very good. Maleonn, if you tell us about the play.
因为舞台剧需要花很多钱，因为我这个作品是最早是跟一个公司合作，这个公司呢，他们没有去运作这个作品，好可惜。但是我希望这个电影播出之后，也许会有新的机会啊，让这个木偶戏，可以再到美国去啊，甚至于到美国去。其实回到中国的舞台上，我也很高兴了，因为他好久没上舞台了。戏剧啊很复杂，戏剧不是我一个人能完成的作品，需要一个很大的团队， 需要很多钱。其实，在2014年，我记得2014年的时候，我们其实跟美国的一个演出公司签订了一个合约，会在美国做。当时我们是可能签订了要做70场演出呢，很多的演出。但是后面生活有很多变化，最后就没演，很可惜。但是我希望他还能上舞台啊，马估计还能上舞台的啊。
I think that what Maleonn and the team, has tried to do is probably pretty similar to a lot of, us independent filmmakers try to do. They're not necessarily affiliated with a large institution, even though they have managed to raise quite a bit of resources in order to get the play set up. But the fate of it, it's still depending on, the different theaters around the world, and, also to be able to get quite a large cast and sort of large amount of prop and set pieces to travel around the world. So that's continuing to be a bit of a challenge. I know that they did have a couple of smaller runs in China after that initial run, but I think that internationally they still try to figure out how to take the next step. In terms of our film, right now our film is actually available via what we call virtual cinema, which is actually a streaming release, but it's in partnership with 50 plus independent theaters around the US, most of which actually have shut down because of the pandemic. But you can go to your local art house cinemas website, and most likely you'll find our film available there for streaming. We're really thrilled about this opportunity to be able to share this film widely with the American audience. We've had a really nice festival run since our premiere at Tribeca last year. And actually, we're still playing in some festivals in the next couple of months. We're playing in Spain, in Barcelona. We're actually playing in Canada. And I think there's one more festival I can't, I'm not even keeping very good track of the schedule for the piece. But if you go to our website at timemachinefilm.com, you can find out more about how you can stream this film in the next couple of weeks.
You had quite a run, Leo and Yang. Yang, I want to ask you this question from Thomas Campbell. I'll read it from him. He says, the dream nightmare sequence was really powerful, and it came at a time when the artist was at a low point in terms of financing and the father's health. The dream was remarkable in the way it looked, the way it used Maleonn's puppets and sound design and music. Can Maleonn and the directors discuss this powerful sequence? So I guess we'll go to Yang, and then we'll go to Maleonn.
其实这个梦里面的所有的影像是马良他本来要放在戏剧作品里的一段小视频。
这是在戏剧作品，
对，
本来这是在戏剧作品。
对，他现在也在上。
对。
然后呢，我们就拿来就作为一段我们表现情绪的东西。
对，那段梦其实也是戏剧作品中的一段梦。
对，然后因为我们想在这个纪录片里加入一些你可能在其他纪录片里很难见到的想象的东西，特别是梦、情绪、记忆的东西，我们会想着用各种的方式来表达，所以这段梦其实就是一个很好的一个表现。因为其实马良他个人在那个时候其实心情我能感受到那种郁闷，然后其实他在言语里其实表达出了很小一部分，但是我能感觉出他是遭遇了巨大的一个困扰。我觉得用这段强有力的视觉能让大家感受出这段困扰到底有多严重对于他来说。
Maleonn, your thought?
是的，没错。 那个我看电影中的那个梦呢，其实本身是戏剧中的梦，但是电影的他们两人把这个做的特别好，他把我戏剧中的梦放在了电影中的那个位置。其实我当时看到这一段的时候，其实就表达了我当时的心理感受啊。没错，现在我这个房间里啊，有2个小孩，一个真实的快3岁的小孩和一个这个5岁的马古吉，一片混乱，我都听不见。我让他们先走了。
到楼上去。
好，来，走了。说拜拜。对，好。
We completely understand.
休息一下，去休息。
Leo, talk about how long it took to film the journey of the film. Give that timeline if you can for us.
So we started shooting in 2015, and we shot until I think the last scene was shot when Deng Deng was born. Actually, well, I don't want to give away the ending. I guess we already did a little bit, but the last scene I think we shot in the spring of 2018. So we shot for about 2.5 years. I think that sounds about right. I think these guys are nodding. And you know, the bulk of the shooting actually was leading up till 2017, and it's one of these sort of documentarian's dream. You know, we when we're making these films, we always have our ideal ending. We have our wish list of like, well, only if this happens, you know. And for us, the wish was like, well, only if Maleonn can get married and have a child, this will be this beautiful, perfect, you know, circle of life situation. And then you know, we always say, oh, it's never gonna happen. It never happens like what we want it to be, but that's actually what happened. So and you know, when they got married, we're like, well, you know, I always tell Yang, I was like, Yang, are they gonna have a kid? Are they gonna have a kid? You know, have a kid for the film. But you know, I think that it was just so beautiful how that panned out for us.
Yeah, Maleonn and Yang are laughing at that. So Yang, a question for you on this. One of the questions was, you know, how did you capture the play, the performance, and what was, you know, when you think about the photography and your cinema view, how did you get that done? That's one of the questions from one of the folks that are watching right now.
我们拍摄舞台剧的时候是其实拍的他们一次排练，所以说我可以就是在任何地方拍，甚至上舞台拍。然后我用了很多的摄像机，同时在不同的角度拍这个。然后我自己还会上舞台，像拍摄一个人物一样，把木偶当成一个人去拍他的近景啊、特写呀，包括他的交流啊这些，尽可能把它拍得像真人的演出。这样的话，给观众的冲击会更好，然后更像就是木偶在跟你交流对话的感觉。然后
我来讲几句哈。我来讲几句。我说，我是一个最不好的拍摄者，最不好的被拍摄者，因为我经常为了我的创作，我说孙杨你不要拍了，你停一下好不好？我现在要找这个作品导戏了，我现在要进行舞台表演了，我现在要进行训练了。然后孙杨真的是一个特别好的艺术家，现在我看来他是一个特别好的艺术家，因为他会坚持不懈的为了完成他的拍摄，用尽各种方法，一定要拍，不听我的话就是要绕开我，要藏起来，然后要从另外一个地方，很远的地方用长焦镜头调过来。他是有一个非常强烈的工作和创作的欲望，他一直在拍摄。这几年以来，只要他跟我们的团队在一起，他就把自己所有的热情和注意力都放在这个拍摄上。其实他现在这个作品拍得那么好，其实这跟他的性格中的这个部分有关。他是一个极其专注而且充满了热情的艺术家，特别棒。
其实是因为 Leo 一直在后面要骂我，我拍的不好，然后就说我，所以也有很大一部分原因。对，但是就是确实是，我很多时候就是会想方设法的去拍东西，嗯，就是只能这样做，因为马良要关注他的戏剧更多，所以我不能让他感到困扰在拍摄里，
Um, I, I know the translation is probably finishing. I also want to make sure that we give credit to we have another camera woman, Liang Shuang, whose footage we use actually quite a bit of. She had shot with Maleonn a little bit towards the beginning and captured some really great scenes. And also, as Yang already mentioned and Maleonn already mentioned, the shadow puppetry is actually Maleonn's own work, and we wish we could take credit for that. But but that's part of his art, and we're lucky enough to be able to use that material in our film. And also, I think all of us feel that way, that what we did with the film is very much an extension, or very much is a complement to what Maleonn did with his play, because we really were telling the same story, the same father-son story. And it just, it feels like a really sort of cross-medium collaboration that we were able to do with this film.
Yeah, Mike Kinomoto asked that question. I'm going to get to one last question. We're going to finish a couple minutes past our original time, but I think there's a lot of good interest here. Maleonn, was there ever a time where you were like, I think this film thing is nice, but I wish that Yang and Leo would leave me alone? And what was that moment? Did that happen?
It's not just one moment. I'm sure he'll tell you. It's like every other day.
比如说今天早上，他让我6点钟起床，而我昨天晚上11点半才到家，睡觉的时候快2点了。他说我今天早上要我起来，但是我知道在美国有很多观众在等着我们。这个家伙今天早上我6点多起床的时候，他已经坐在我楼下的客厅里在等我了。他就是这样工作的。
Yeah, I know the feeling. As a broadcast journalist and a budding filmmaker myself, many of my subjects see me walk in and hope that I would turn around and leave. Another question, Josephine asks this, Maleonn, do you miss, and this is in reflection of seeing, and I think this conversation so far, she's asking, Maleonn, do you miss being a child versus the role of now having to to take care of your father?
是特别怀念我昨天晚上其实照理应该早睡觉，因为今天早上要早起，但是我看了一篇文章是关于父亲的我有点感动，我就写了一篇短文，大概几百字的，其中我就在说，我就回忆我父亲母亲怎么跟我在一起生活，他们怎么教育我的。我写着写着的时候，我就觉得，哎，其实人生啊，好快啊！那个时候，我是个孩子，怎么就好像就在我眼前一样？突然之间，我都已经成为快50岁的人了，我自己都有孩子，然后，父亲母亲都那么老了。其实我们每个人人生都很快，我们要珍惜自己拥有的一切哈，要好好的热爱自己的生活。我希望每个人都是哈。
Maleonn, that is a great way to finish our conversation today about an amazing documentary about your journey, about your play's journey, and really what is just the beginning, it feels like, of where this might go as our time machine is now out there today. Many people will see it. And just your honesty, right? And I think from a filmmaker's perspective, from Leo's seat and Yang's seat, they're like, they love that you've been so honest and you've shared your story. And so I want to finish our visit to Shanghai with Maleonn, his beautiful wife, his beautiful daughter, and his great son as well, Makuji, with, I guess, short words from Yang and short words from Leo, and then we can call it a night.
谢谢。
杨，你先说吧。 说几句。
对我其实挺感动的是，我昨天又看到Makuji，然后更感动的是看到Makuji跟登登他们在一起拥抱，然后像哥哥和妹妹一样，然后我当时就是眼泪都在眼眶里打转了，然后我觉得其实好像那个瞬间就是我们片子的最后一个，那才是最后一个镜头，就是看到Makuji跟登登拥抱。希望大家都去看这个片子。
对，其实我的感受，跟孙杨特别像，就是刚才我看到那个画面的时候，我快哭了。我觉得，因为Makuji曾经是我的孩子，那个时候我没有真实孩子的时候，Makuji就是我的孩子。后来我有了一个真的孩子，他们俩人面对的时候就那么相亲相爱，特别动人。谢谢今天的这个直播，也是给了我一个机会重新看我的人生。然后我希望各位观众能去看这个电影，这是一部除了主角长得不太好看之外，都很好看的电影啊。Leo 讲
It's great. Leo.
I don't know if I can say any more to that sort of beautiful conclusion. I mean, it really does feel like the art and the life meet today. It feels very special to be able to have this moment and to be able to witness that. So I'm really grateful that we were able to do this and we're able to share this really beautiful story with the audience.
We couldn't ask for a better get to meet the filmmakers, a better get to meet the protagonist in this gathering for our Time Machine. Again, timemachinefilm.com. Thank you all for hanging out.